Online Battle 27. That's right, that's how many I've done. It doesn't feel like that many. It feels like I've done about 6. But cool. I'm playing as the Empire with my Arch-Lector ready for business. And I'm facing the Wood Elves. We're on the Dock Karaz map, which is a relatively flat map with a few kind of craters which add a kind of tactical element. A few hills and stuff as well. One of which I have set up on with my artillery. Only one unit of artillery, but it'll do the job against these lightly armoured Elves. Hellstorm Rocket Battery. My front line is composed of swordsmen, 3 units of those. I wasn't entirely sure how they'd stack up against Elves, but I gave them a go. Got halberds on either of my edges and also Empire Knights on either of my edges. So slightly cheaper on the cavalry front. Normally I don't bring Empire Knights, I like to go expensive on my cavalry, but I went a little bit cheaper. Got some handgunners, some crossbowmen and some more handgunners as my skirmishers. 2 units of flagellants who are positioned directly behind my front line, making it look like they're going to support them, but they're actually going to be flanking later on. And we'll talk about that more when the time comes. Got some pistoliers as well, just because I had the money left over. And that is about it, I think. I got a light wizard as well, and my general. Oh, that's not the unit I wanted to follow. My general is the Arch-Lector. I like his leadership buffs and the fact that he's a little bit tougher than Karl Franz. So that's my killing force. The enemy is terrified of artillery apparently, and is making a run for the crater to hide from it. His army is lots of Eternal Guard. About 5 units of those, I think. 3, 4, 5? Yep. 5 units of those. He's got some Aserai Spears in there, War Dancers, Wildwood Rangers, Starfire Shaft, Glade Guard, more Starfire Shaft, some regular War Dancers, non-Aserai Spear ones, so pretty versatile army. Spellsinger as well, and his General is a Glady on an Eagle. So a pretty good balanced build. It's got a strong front line in those Spearmen, plenty of good flanking units in the War Dancers, and some Skirmishers as well. Oh, he does have some Wild Riders who are hidden down here. I couldn't actually see them. I had no idea they were here till later on. But he's got those sat there. 2 units of those. Very dangerous cavalry. The battle so far has been him running away and hiding down the crater to avoid my artillery. And he's net of Ammontok to my Empire Knights, which seemed like a curious move. But he was going to start hammering them with all kinds of missiles. Because of course, they take extra damage from missiles when they're under that spell. He's going to drop an arrow of Kurnos on them, which is going to do a fair amount of damage. So a good move to whittle down parts of my army, because there's no need for him to rush up if I've got artillery. It's a perfectly legit strategic move to move out the way of it. I'm not going to sit here and take it though, so I'm going to start to push up on him a little bit. Now I was sending my Empire Knights down the left side, down in the crater, to try and come up to this crater and get eyes on them so that I could start firing my artillery on them. And that's when I discovered the Wild Riders, who started charging towards me. So I'm going to pull my Empire Knights back as quick as I can, as soon as I realise. I haven't realised yet, I don't think. Still trying to get some missiles on that Glade Lady to keep her at bay. Empire Knights coming back now. I'm sending over my Pistoliers, who generally, I don't normally bring Pistoliers. It was only because I was kind of rushed. The guy chose his army really quickly. I guess he had them saved, and I don't have any saved. I just kind of pick them as I go. So I was kind of rushed, and I picked Pistoliers because I had the amount of money left, and I wanted to bring more cavalry, so I thought they'd be good for running down skirmishers, if nothing else. But I had them on skirmish here. They're doing a little bit of damage. I'm trying to get a Cav Spear Trap on the go, but he saw that one coming, obviously. Only really works when the enemy's not looking at their cavalry and they've gone to micro something else. I'm going to try and get my halberds into him here, though. They won't quite be able to get into them, but I have brought my Empire Knights over from the other side. He's then going to target them, because he can get a nice double charge with 2 units on my 1 Empire Knights. They're going to take about half the health damage from that. But it does allow me to sandwich him a little bit with my other Empire Knights. So I can do a fair amount of damage before he manages to completely flee. My halberds have got in there a little bit too. So a pretty fair exchange. We both lost about half health on 1 unit of our cavalry. See, that one's been sandwiched, taking half health. My Empire Knights that took the charge. These ones are pretty much okay, those Wild Riders. So pretty fair exchange so far, but he's not done yet. His second Wild Rider unit has just about survived from being sandwiched. But this guy is determined to go a little bit kamikaze with his cavalry. He starts charging towards the rear of my army. Going to get a bit of a side charge on him with my Empire Knights, but he's not stopping for that. He's going to keep moving because he wants, of course, my artillery. Going to start throwing everything I have at it. Going to start shooting at them. Going to throw the Arch-Lector in there. He's net of Ammontok to my skirmishers for some reason. But going to try and get to them, but can't quite do it in time. Good shot, Arch-Lector. He's going to get into my artillery. Going to do a lot of damage to them. Rout them very quickly, of course. But at the expense of the unit itself. Those Wild Riders aren't going to hang around too long, as they've been beaten the crap out of. So, was that worth it? He's used 2 units of cavalry to get rid of my artillery, although I'm not really worried because my artillery will come back. They've still got 18 men left. That's more than enough to keep my artillery operational. So, kind of what I was talking about in my last tactic video about coordination. He's attacked an entire army with 2 units, which allowed me to use my missiles, use my halberds, use my cavalry, use my general to try and stop them. And of course they got thoroughly destroyed. They did a bit of damage to my Empire Knights. Was that worth it for 2 units that cost over 2 grand? Probably not. All the while, I've been having a skirmish with his general, trying to shoot him a bit. He's also been shooting back at us with arrows of Kernus and stuff, doing quite a bit of damage. Archlector getting rid of these Wild Riders. No problem for him. So that's the Wild Riders out the way. Now we just have to deal with all the infantry that is hidden away down the hill. So yeah, my army in this one, I wasn't really happy with it going into the battle. Because I was kind of rushed, I was like, oh, I'm probably going to lose this one because my army's not that great, but I'll just give it a go anyway. But I'm trying to expand my boundaries a bit, because I normally play it quite safe and use the units that I know best, but I've been trying to use units that I don't normally use, just to try and kind of get better with a bit of everything. That's why I'm using like flagellants. I've never really used them much before, but I'm actually finding them to be a damn good unit. They'll output a fair amount of damage, and because they're unbreakable, they don't go anywhere. The amount of time they can buy you is so useful. And my channel's got to the point now where I get recognised occasionally online, and people know who I am, so like, oh, okay, cool. But then I think, okay, this person knows a lot about me and how I play, but I don't know anything about them, so they've kind of got an advantage on me. So I'm forced to mix up my game and play differently than I normally would, and to do things that are kind of unpredictable, because otherwise they're going to know exactly how to beat me. Which is good. It forces me to get better and to do more things that I wouldn't normally do. Back to the battle, he netted my Pistoliers and then charged them with his Wild Riders, got rid of them, a good move, but my Empire Knights weren't far away, so they're going to go and make short work of what remains of the Wild Riders. My artillery boys returning to their guns, and the enemy is finally coming out of the crater, starting to move up. And once again we're sending my Empire Knights round to try and have a look at him, try and get eyes on him so I could shoot at him, but he's already on the move, so it's all good. Things are in motion. Wild Riders have been dealt with, no more of them. Going to start to regroup now, pull all my units back, get everybody in position to face this main army that's going to be coming at me. So didn't take too much damage from the Wild Rider onslaught, but the Glade Lady's probably done a fair amount of damage with all the arrows of Kernus and stuff, got a few kills. His army's running sideways for some reason. Instead of running towards me, they're kind of running off to the right. Not really sure what the plan is here, but we are landing some nice hits with the Hellstorm rocket battery. A pretty good artillery for the lightly armoured elves, I think. That's why I brought it. It's a bit random and pot luck whether you actually hit anything, of course. But if you do, against these lightly armoured fools, they will get pretty fried. A good amount of damage, or a little bit of damage to them. No damage to them. A little bit of damage all around. Wildwood Rangers, they're an important one we need to try and get rid of. Then he realises, oh, this is a fucking stupid idea. I'm going to start to run towards him, because that's where he is. Honestly, I have no idea what his plan was there. He's cast a net on my artillery. I can only assume to get the damage increased, because they weren't exactly going to go anywhere. Probably could have been better units to do that on, though. So over here, this is my Net of Amatox spell. It's a good shot, right? Yeah. So I was trying to click on this, and then my mouse just kind of went, oh, and I just clicked like next to him, so I just completely missed. So wasted Net of Amatox spell there, due to my friggin' clown fingers. Gonna start to shoot him anyway, though. So I was trying to net him and then shoot him down, but I messed it up. Now, it's still, he's running in a bit of a weird formation, clumping up his units, taking a lot of Hellstorm fire, and he's actually trying to zigzag, I noticed. He's literally doing this. Like this is Battlefield, and he's trying to dodge a sniper. With an entire army, he's trying to zigzag. Zigzag run, mate, zigzag run. Yeah, no, it doesn't really work with entire armies, I don't think, when you're being fired at by an unpredictable Hellstorm rocket. Save that stuff for the FPS games, bro. It's not going to work here. His missiles are starting to pop off on me a bit. Still landing some, ooh, nice couple of hits there with the rocket battery. But now, instead of actually attacking me, he's going to form up and start to fire his missiles at me and just take the Hellstorm rocket battery fire in the face. So is it worth the trade-off? Another good question. You take the Hellstorm fire, but you do a lot of missile damage fire. Seems as he's taken quite a lot already, you probably would have been better off advancing. Seems to be shooting at my missiles though, trying to get rid of them of all people. But in comes the general again. He's going to try a little bit more of his silliness, but this time I'm going to get him with my Net of Amatox, and I'm going to start to hammer him with all the skirmishers I can. My crossbowmen, my handgunners weren't really set up. One of them's just been routed by the enemy archers. But we're going to get a nice bit of damage on him here, and he's stuck. I'm just going to hammer away at him, and I'm going to move my front line up, get this battle on the go. Swordsmen looking like they're going to square up with Eternal Guard. That should be a fight they can win. My group attack order didn't really work properly here. They were supposed to attack 3 different units because they're in a locked group, but they're all going for 1 unit. So at the last minute I noticed this and had to reassign them just in the nick of time. Send that one off to the right, send that one off to the unit next to it. My flagellants coming around the flank as intended. So I did have them just sat behind the front line to not make my flanking obvious, but then about a minute ago I moved them over to the left so that they could be ready for the flanking attack. And they are well and truly on that, because they're a little bit faster on their feet, so they're a pretty good flanking unit. He's done the same thing to me though, as I didn't have enough for a full front line, but I've got my cavalry there ready in case they do attack me in the flank and I can just hammer and anvil them. But he does opt to try and get after my cavalry. I'm going to run away though, of course, and has done the same thing around here. I run all the way around them to try and get on them, but he's keeping up with me because he's got asteroid spears, so we're very quick. Going to get around him though, get into these missiles and a little bit into these spears. Going to do a nice bit of damage. I kind of forgot about this unit at this point though, because I did tell them to charge ages ago. So they're probably going to get sandwiched and caught. But my flagellants are coming in. Going to get into these asteroid spears, 2 units of those. They're going to throw down Wildwood Rangers as well. A nice opportunity has presented itself. My Empire Knights coming in after avoiding those spears. They've got a good shot on the flank of the enemy, and the backs of those Wildwood Rangers and asteroid spears. Those are 2 very expensive dangerous units, so I'm definitely going to go for that. His general has foolishly flown in and got into combat with some of my halberds. I'm using the net to ensure that he stays there, and I'm also going to start shooting him as well, trying to get that general dead as quick as possible, because my halberds will tear through that eagle like he's Christmas dinner. Because that's what the Empire eat for Christmas dinner. They don't have turkey, they have eagle. They're that posh. My Empire Knights got that charge in on the Wildwood Rangers. Probably should have pulled them away though. Shouldn't have really left them there, but at this point I was getting a little bit worried because there is a lot of green infantry around, and a lot of my units were losing, the swordsmen and stuff. But his general has just been routed, so that's a big victory for us. She doesn't have much health left either. I'm trying to get my missile units on her to get her finished off. My pistoliers, my crossbowmen are there as well, and she is going to take some missiles any second now. I want to be sure to watch this. Here we go, the arrows are coming in, and she's having a long fall from grace. And because she was so annoying at the start, I'm going to watch it. Die, bitch. See you in whatever the equivalent of hell is in the old world. Doosh. Hits the ground hard. And she is done. This is surely going to spell the end of the elves. Although they don't do terribly without their leader, they will fight for a while. They've got pretty good leadership, so we're not out of the woods yet. Some of my units are still wavering. We've got a lot of infantry around, and their infantry is very tough, so I've got to be careful. Although I do have the Arch-Lector, who of course gives a buff to leadership. I've got Light Wizard, he'll help keep things around as well. Starting to waver some. The flagellants of course won't go anywhere. Lots of spears though. Asteroid spears, Eternal Guard. The halberds are armor piercing, so they're not the best choice for this. I probably should have bought some regular spears instead of halberds actually. I just charged my pistoliers into melee with Wild Riders just because they were so small. I thought maybe they'll get rid of them. We'll see what they can do. Probably not a lot. Got a few units out here. I need to micro back in. A couple of cavalries. Got some routing though, some white flags, but there's still a lot of flags not going anywhere. So the fight still rages on. Lots of elves. The Arch-Lector, oh god, I've had him fighting her. I had him fighting the Spellsinger for about 5 minutes. And he literally just couldn't seem to get hold of her, and took forever to get just half her health off there. So I gave up with her and just started to get into some of the units instead, try to get rid of their leadership. And it seems to be proving effective, as there are a lot of white flags being raised. So this one is pretty much over. Good game to my opponent. He made some good moves, but also some questionable ones. Maybe a little bit too much dancing around. If he'd just all out come at me from the start, he probably would have had a better chance, wouldn't have given my artillery time to do anything, because they're pretty quick on their feet, the elves. So they don't stay exposed to artillery very long. It's one of their strengths, I'd say, one of their better strengths. But a Pyrrhic victory has ensued from this battle. Let's see how each side performed. My army, fairly equal across the board. No one carrying anyone there. Everyone was pulling their weight for the most part. A good balanced performance, I'd say. Nice few kills on the old rocket battery. The enemy, his Wild Riders, didn't do a lot, so he kept them in check. That was good. Wildwood Rangers did pretty good. A pretty balanced performance across the board for him as well. His general did well. Picked off a lot of my troops with arrows and arrows of Kurnus. So yeah, good game, good game. What could have gone differently? Well, like I said, I think if he just charged up on me straight away, he would have had a much better time and been able to do a lot more damage and wouldn't have taken as much damage from me, and his Wild Riders still would have been alive. He would have attacked as one, would have coordinated better. But instead he left himself without any cavalry when it came to the main fight, and that's a big disadvantage. And even after he came out of hiding, instead of running straight at me, he ran off to the side, just allowing me time to do more and more damage. He did harass well with his Glade Lady, whittling down my army, which is a good legit tactic. Nothing wrong with having your main army fall back and stay out the way while you try to just do bits of damage here and there with a few safer units. But in the end, his downfall was just dancing around too much with his main army. Running to the right and then zigzagging just slowed him down and allowed me more time to hurt him. As for me, I think I should have been a bit more aggressive and pushed on him a bit sooner, tried to get eyes on him a bit sooner so I could fire so that he'd come out of the hole and I didn't have to just wait for him and take all the Glade Lady damage. And we both missed a trick early on the cav engagement when we could have netted the other one's cavalry and charged them. Neither of us did that and we both could have done. And I think that sums up most of that battle. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. You know when I'll see you. It's going to be in the future.